key signature of buildings. What I want to share with you is that every building has a soul, it has a heart, and it has what I'm calling a key signature, an energy signature. It's what distinguishes the characteristic of one building from another. Just like each one of us, we are individuals, we are part of the whole of humanity. The same as spirit of building, but each building has a soul and a particular vibration, a particular note that we can recognize it by. Now, everything that happens in a building, like we've heard today, will leave an imprint, will leave a mark. If there are spirits wandering in a building, they will overlay the soul of that building. Everything that happens will create an energetic overlay. So to actually find the heart, the soul of the building, we've actually got to get through those multi-layers to address the heart, see what it is the building needs. What was the building's purpose? And once we can connect with that, then that's the point I will start to use Feng Shui. So when we look at different buildings, even by looking at the images, we get a sense of that building, the characteristic, its purpose. That's its key signature. It's its energy pattern that we recognize it by. We've spoken about chaos today, but yes, we can say the universe is chaotic, but is it? It's actually full of law. It just needs reordering. So when we take that chaos and the mathematics of number and harmony within the universe, we have this human need to actually put things into order. And buildings, of course, are a great way of expressing that. To get right to the heart of any building, we need to know that right at the center, right at that heart point, is that seed form, which in Sanskrit, which is that hidden line, is called the spota. It's the point where the DNA is held, where the coding matrix of the knowledge of any object or building or natural thing is held. And from that, it's that vibrational word back in the mind, and when it's brought forward through sound, through vibration, it's brought forward into creation. And so we've got nature which beautifully shows us this explosive principle and the unfolding of the geometries. So it's just a few tools for working with creating architectural form, designing buildings, but also in unraveling them and actually going back from a building back to find its seed point and understand its purpose. The circle squared, a very universal, so here we are, the golden mean, right at the heart of everything. Peacocks know about it. In fact, the way bees propagate, rabbits breed, the fern, all golden means, a very natural harmonic. The sunflower, another yellow thing that's not a banana. So we get the sense of that spin. Yeah, it's very expansive. You can't actually rest in a golden mean harmonic spin unless you are still at the center. And at the end of the day, it's our center we're talking about. It's our inner heart. The good old cactus that's had a really good knocking in Feng Shui. Golden mean harmonics, absolutely beautiful. This is in Malta, one of the churches in Valletta. We get a sense of it, that spin, that energy, that is part of our harmonic. If we do not have that spinning freely in our body, we get sick. If that is spinning freely and naturally, the human body cannot be ill. Okay, this is finding the soul of the building. We all love success stories. Chelsea, a house, lady couldn't rent it. She had it on the market 3 or 4 months. lovely place, went to look at it. Why wasn't it renting? The house was seriously abused by the previous tenants. Not very nice things were going on in there by the people renting it. So we walked through the house, and by just being open and sending your antennae out, just expanding your energy, will actually physically go to a particular location, which it did down in the lower ground. And it's like a physical sweet spot that you can virtually touch. And this was within about 30 minutes of being there. And got the lady owner to actually sense this, and she knew it, and she understood that that house was in pain. It did not want to be rented out. So why should anyone come and rent it? The house does not want it. So she was then able to actually make a promise to that house and resolve the pain that it had been given by the previous people. And so I worked on that with her. Long story how that was done, but essentially it was through the heart released, that love, compassion, and within an hour of being there, guess what happened? Not one agent, but 2 estate agents phoned up while I was still there, saying we want to bring someone round this afternoon, twice. And it was rented that afternoon, after 3 or 4 months of being empty. Again, just to finish with this one, this is about the purpose of the building, and this is the beacon in Kingston. It was one of the first buildings to have electricity, so it's always been a leader as a building in Kingston. And they started to build around it, scaffolding, concrete flats around, and when I first went, this building was in total and utter trauma. I could feel it vibrating at, I don't know, 20 pulses a second as opposed to about 8, a natural pulse. And it was really in trauma, and so it was about what I call regressing a building, actually taking it back year by year through all its layers of ghosts and ghoulies and dead animals and whatever, back to its seed point, back to its original inception point. Now, they used to make drugs and sell them on the ground floor back in 150 years ago. And when I was in the kitchen up on the first floor, I could still see them, all dressed in their Victorian, Edwardian clothes, still making the drugs, but nowhere to sell them. So you've still got all this activity going on. So getting right back to the core of the building, getting all those clear layers, and then asking the building right at its center core, right at its inception point, which is where an architect will design from, what is your purpose? And its original purpose was to serve the community of Kingston through making pharmacy. But now that function is gone, so this building has no function. So it's about giving it a new function, a new program. And so it's to serve the community of Kingston as a goddess centre, which is what it is now. And so from that point, you then reseed and recode its purpose, and then bring it back slowly, as you would with a person in regression, back to 2006 or whatever that was. And then as it got there, it suddenly just went, hey, I'm here, right now, in present time, not stuck hundreds of years ago, with a very clear purpose to move forward and serving the community of Kingston. Are we done with time? So I hope I've served you in my liberation.